What's up, everyone? How's it going? It is Monday, March 29, 2021. Can't talk today, so I think I was watching this chick in the David Chauvin testimony trial, whatever you want to call it, today, and I was like, this girl had me losing brain cells, man, just watching her. Oh God, like they could have picked someone worse. They couldn't have picked someone worse to testify, I guess. I'm not really sure what they're doing. They just have witnesses that are calling, and it's no, David Chauvin is one of the cops, dude. It's like the trial for him. It's to determine, what kind of sentence this guy's gonna get. Like if he's gonna be charged officially. Well, no, convicted. Sorry, not charged. Convicted. I don't know. I don't know what the penalty is gonna be for him if convicted. But like, I don't know. Like I'm not really sure where they're going with this stuff. Like, I don't know. I'm a little confused. But like they had this girl go on either way. This girl, she's clearly like from the hood, or I don't know, or she just whatever. They were asking her like, well, oh, what were you doing inside this place that you were recording from? I don't remember. I don't remember what was happening. Like, that was just a crazy day. It was so long ago. And it's like, okay, well, we'll try to help you. So you were at work at Speedway, and you're like looking out the window and you see something across the street and you do something with your phone. What'd you do with your phone? What? I don't know. Like, what are you talking about? Like, well, from what you told us, you took your phone out and you started recording, right? Oh yeah. It's just like, dude, like this. I mean, it was like they were asking this girl like GED questions, man, and she just could not answer anything. Wow, goal already for Edmonton. Okay then. Well, that was quick. That's what she said. But yeah, it was this girl, and then plus, like, she kept answering, like, if you're somewhat professional, when they ask you questions, you're saying yes, 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 like whatever, you're answering clearly, crisply, and she's just like, yeah, yeah. It's just like, I'm sure your parents must be proud, lady. I mean, I get, like, being nervous, but, like, the way you act in public is kind of like who you are. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing to see that person on TV. I was actually texting Melinda and asking her, I'm like, are you watching this? Because this girl is like an embarrassment. Like, it's just like, dude, like, this is why you work at Speedway. I mean, not necessarily, but like, I mean, clearly, and there was some point where the attorney asked her something like, he used the word like composition, and I'm like thinking in a question, and I'm like, yeah, she probably doesn't even know what that word means. Like, you obviously know who you're asking questions to at this point, because this was like way into like the end of them even questioning her. It's like, okay, you know who this person is. She can barely answer your questions as it stands. And then you're going to use the big words like to ask her questions. Like, yeah, you clearly don't know what's going on right now either. Like, these guys are lost. Just, wow. So I was only able to catch, like, was she a witness? She was across the street recording. She was at the Speedway across the street from where he died, where the ambulance showed up and everything. Like, literally, she could record it out of the window of the speedway she was sitting in. It was directly across the street from the cup place or whatever. Oh, nice move there, almost. But she had like all this. She record. Oh my God, dude got dropped. She recorded like 6 videos, and then like a 7th was after. Maybe she was paid to keep quiet. I don't know, man. I was sort of thinking in my mind, she was probably thinking, oh, snitches get stitches kind of deal. But they said the cops called her up after the whole incident, and she voluntarily offered up the video she recorded. Oh my God, how did he not score that goal? So, I don't know. Like, she already essentially gave them information. So it's like, at this point, you're just doing it in a more public view. But then they asked her, like, oh, are you nervous? Oh, man, almost a good scoring opportunity there. He got wiped the hell out. Damn, I think he's dead. Oh, what a save. But yeah, they asked her if she was nervous, and she's like, yeah. But then every time they asked her the questions, and like the guy was just like, okay, take your time. We got time. And she still. I just texted Melinda at some point towards the end. It's probably towards the middle of the end. I'm like, dude, they just need to get this woman off the witness stand. Like, this is just a waste of time. Like, just a waste of time. Because she wasn't helpful. I mean, maybe to some extent. Maybe she helped somehow, some way, but I don't really know how, because, other than, yes, a lot of times passed. Like, yes, we know that, but, like, dude, like, what kind of memory? How old are you? The girl couldn't have been more than, like, maybe just in her early 30s, maybe. She seemed like she was probably younger than that. There's no way you're that forgetful. And that's like a huge moment in your life. With you recording that, you were in amazement enough to pull out your phone to then record. Oh, shoot! Oh, no, how'd you turn that over? Like, it was a moment in your life big enough to record it. So obviously it had meaning. There was even a point where they're like, okay, so you were in the store, you're recording the phone, and then so like, did you do anything, like while you were recording or something like that? She's like, no, I went outside and smoked a cigarette or something. It was kind of like, I think they were just trying to say like, yeah, I stayed there and watched for a while. And then I went outside, like, but she was just kind of like, I don't know, she just kind of was just like, yeah, I went and smoked a cigarette, I think. Everything was like, oh, I think, or I can't remember, or I'm pretty sure, it's just like, dude, like, you can't be if you're a witness to something and you're saying shit like that, basically everything that you just said, no one cares about. Like, it's basically just it's gonna go unnoticed, it's gonna be ignored, because you're wishy-washy as fudge. To say words like that. It's kind of like when you say like, I think this or I think that. It's like that's you kind of basically saying that you're not sure. Instead of just saying like, instead of just making a statement, you're kind of almost like questioning your own statement before you make your statement, and that's when it's wishy-washy. That's when you're not certain about something. That's why you say, I think. Like, I think this is what happened. Oh, man. Yeah, so that was, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what comes of that, though. So now they're currently interviewing the guy. They're currently got the guy on there, the infamous black dude who was at the place, who was like yelling at them. Goal, Toronto. They're interviewing the dude who was there, who like was like yelling at them, like, dude, he's saying he can't breathe, like that guy. He's actually on the stand now, or at least he was before I started streaming. So apparently this guy was in MMA. He was training in MMA or some crap like that, which I'm not sure why that's it was only, I guess, relevant. I think they went through all that. The only reason why it was relevant was because then after they talked elaborately about like him going to a gym and practicing MMA and stuff, they asked him, okay, well, where'd you drove up here that day, right? He's like, yeah. They're like, where'd you come from and where did you park? He's like, oh, I parked right outside of this cup place. And they're like, oh, okay. And then they're like, okay, and you remember this? We showed you this picture that we got from the camera out there, and it's him walking. It's him walking in a. He's got a hoodie on, and the hoodie, he's got the hood part over his head, so you can see his face, but you can't really see him completely. Wow, that was too easy of a goal for Edmonton there. So then they're like, okay, and you got this shirt on that says like such and such boxing, right? And he's like, yeah. He's like, they're like, what is that? And he's like, yeah. Or they're basically like saying like, well, that's not like just something anyone would be wearing, right? Because you clearly go there or whatever. And you know, it was kind of like just trying to establish the fact that that was him walking into the store, presumably. And it's just like, really, you spent like 10 minutes just trying to establish that this is who this guy was. I mean, you can tell by the rest of the videos, you know it's him. You know, it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't know what you're trying to prove there. Maybe I'm just dumb. I don't know enough. But like, if you're just trying to prove that he was there, like you went way overboard to try to prove something that was clearly to any reasonable person, they would have been able to determine that based on other videos from in the moment or other, you know, other recordings from in the moment. Now I guess the parts that they have been showing in the video that you didn't see was the part where that I guess I never really realized that an ambulance eventually came to the scene. You know, obviously you never really see that part because it's not, I mean, honestly, it's not really all that relevant because he was obviously dead by that point. But the fact that, I don't know, I just kind of felt like that kind of almost made it worse because it's like, you know, the guy's dead. Like, what the hell are you going to do with him in an ambulance? Like, honestly, I don't even know. Like, when someone dies, do they take him away in an ambulance? I mean, I guess they do. I'm not sure. Because what are they going to do with a dead? What are they going to do with a corpse? But anyways, like, yeah, it was just like, you know, they show him, put him on a stretcher and shit. The only thing that they established with the girl was like, the stupid girl was like, so at any point did you see the officer? Did you see the officer that was up towards his head ever change position even after the ambulance arrived? And she's like, no. I mean, that's probably like the only like relevant thing that she said the whole time, but like her video shows that. So I mean, and all the video shows that. So it's kind of like, I don't know. It's, tell us what you saw. Like, well, I mean, you see what I saw because I was recording it. Oh, and I think one of her excuses for not remembering. Oh, that's icing. No? Wow, okay. One of her excuses for not remembering was, she's like, you know, I don't really know. I was too busy trying to make sure that cars weren't going to hit me coming into the gas station. Like, really? Like, that's your excuse for not remembering? I wasn't really paying attention. I was just recording and trying to dodge cars that were pulling into the gas station. Like, it's not like you were like visibly moving around a lot while the camera was recording. So you clearly weren't dodging cars or anything. You weren't moving around to be like, oh, let me get out of the way of this person. Dude, they even showed like her 7th video. They're like, oh, so what'd you do like after you left work that night? She's like, wow, Edmonton with another goal. Damn, Toronto all out of sorts right now. They were like, what'd you do after you left work? She's like, well, she's like, or they're like, what'd you see? She's like, oh, I saw police tape around the scene. And they were like, oh, what'd you do? when you saw that? And she's like, oh yeah, I recorded it. And they're like, so then they pull up a video of her like literally outside of her place of employment, like panning the camera from right to then back to left to show the police tape around this crime scene. And like literally that's all they showed in the video, like her pan right once and pan back to the left. And they had them cut the video short, and that was like 20 seconds of the 1 minute video. And they're like, what'd you see? It's like, oh, I saw the police tape. And they're like, oh, what did that do to you for work that night? Well, I had to drive around it. Like, I don't, okay. So, I mean, like, just like any other crime scene anywhere else in the world, like, or construction or anything else, like, were you just trying to point out that she was inconvenienced by the guy dying? Like, I'm not really sure what you were. Oh, he crushed him. What did he get, boarding? Wow. Elbowing. Wow, you don't see that often.
As they step into the face-off circle, let's see if they can take advantage on this power play. Isn't this nice? They're ahead, and they get their first power play of the
Good
game.
morning, Marcus, dude. Bro, you don't love me anymore.
Knocks the puck away in the open ice. Moves it quickly over to Kerfoot.
Oh, good save. Marcus, what have you been up to, man? What a pussy ass penalty, right?
Makes a pretty good save here. More than half the period left to play. The Oilers.
So we're doing 2 games a day. Lauren's supposed to be coming back over at 6:30 today. So we got 2 games on tap. They're usually about 45 minutes each. So, all right. So a minute left on this power play for Edmonton right now. Marcus is filing for divorce. Yeah, apparently, man. What a jerk. Oh my gosh, such good passes down low, and then it got stolen. Like, how do you let them steal that, bro? Oh my god, how do you even let them get that shot off? My doctor told you to go play sports. Did he? Or are you just messing around? So you joined a Minecraft football? Oh my god, stop it. Trash, bro. Trash. Marcus, that is garbage, son. That's garbage. How did she like playing it? She liked it. She's kind of like she asked after the stream. She's like, you and I should play this together, like somewhere where I can just like practice. I'm like, dude. I'm like, look, you're lucky you had me there telling you like how to play the game. I'm like, these guys didn't tell me shit. I'm like, I just had to learn how to try to figure out how to play it by myself. And I'm like, I'm telling you, like, hey, go here for the map. You know, this is what you need to do. Like, you know, I'm giving you a hell of a lot more information than I ever got. You got player of the week, and we blew the Fortnite kids 62-0. Wow. Marcus does need to go on Dr. Phil. Oh, ooh, good save. Marcus is out of control child who never goes to bed on time. He's like, oh, I go to bed at like 4. I need to wake up for school at like 7, and then I come home and go to sleep for like 4 hours. See, Marcus, you need to fix your sleep schedule, man. You need to like stay up and not nap one night and just rough through it. Then you'll fix your you need to fix your sleep schedule. Are the Oilers gonna win? I don't know. I mean, there's always a chance. Let me get through this week so I can go to spring break. Why? Because then you're not gonna fix your sleep schedule during spring break. We both know that. If anything, during vacations, usually your sleep schedule is what gets thrown off, and so that's why people have such a hard time coming back from vacations, is because you don't follow. People normally break routines. Oh, good defense there. And Mike, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like again, it's rich people don't sleep. That's not true, but okay. No, but they do say the most. They do say that. They do say that the most successful people wake up early in the morning. You think Bill Gates slept? Slept? I'm assuming is what you meant to say. Slee. I can't talk. Bill Gates absolutely did sleep. Look, he's an executive. Like executives, well, he was in. Maybe he had a harder time sleeping when he was like, well, see, even then, I don't even know if that's true. I mean, like, unless you're like someone who is like a grunt, who does a lot of like software, not even software, like hardware support and stuff like that, system support. That's not Microsoft's business, though. Like, they didn't have Xbox and that kind of stuff. You think... Really? Why you call him Zoidberg? It's not Zoidberg. Zuckerberg, you dork. Zuckerberg absolutely does sleep. They sleep like babies because they just sleep on top of all their money. They do sleep. I don't know why you guys say that. Like... Look, the only people that don't sleep are the people that have to support the product. The executives, he gets paid to make big time decisions. They get paid to make big time decisions and make a lot of money for it. That's why they make, part of the reason why they make a lot of money. Now, they don't deserve to make as much money as they do, but you think the Disney mascot sleeps? Is there really a Disney mascot per se? I mean, you're referring to Mickey Mouse? I mean, which one? Because there's a lot of them all over the place. They're at all sorts of different Disney parks. East Cleveland doesn't sleep? Yeah. I would say that's probably an accurate statement. Mark Zuckerberg is your uncle. It's not lying, Alanitis. Running car and space company ain't easy. What? Look, yeah, but again, like, that's why you pay people to do the work. He doesn't do it all himself. Are there some times where maybe he does it? They don't get some sleep. Oh my God! Speaking of sleep, why am I yawning? He's my 16th step uncle. What the hell are you talking about? All right, so we're going to the third. Edmonton up 3-1 against Toronto right now.
Time for the opening face-off here in period number 3.
Mascots, what? They gotta practice. They do not, dude. Mike, you got some issues, man. So executives absolutely do sleep, though. I'll tell you that much. They absolutely do. They make a shit ton of money. They make stock bonuses usually. They get stock in their name that they can just sell and distribute accordingly.
Reads the pass perfectly and picks it off. The Oilers take possession in the defensive end. Moves it to Nurse. From center they get into the attacking area. And a poke check knocks the puck away.
Trump slept? Yeah, absolutely did.
Control of it once again. The Leafs will play it from the defensive zone. Directs it on over to McDavid.
Can you give a package to mailman? No, that's not how it works. You need to go there and get it weighed and get postage on it. And crap.
Back to the point it goes. Just wide.
You gotta pay for postage. So unless it's already postmarked or whatever somehow, then sure, maybe that might work. But even then, I don't think you can do that technically. Mike don't know how stamps work. Oh, you guys are children. It has the shipping label. Yeah, but you have to pay for postage. I mean, mean, are you like returning it or something? Is it something that you had like a return label or something?
From the goaltender. That looked like an automatic goal. He's able to make the stop.
Lots of time left in this period. It's a 2-goal lead we're looking at with the score 3-1. The Leafs win it. Move to the middle. The Oilers have a hold of it in the defensive zone.
Oh my God, that dude just got rocked. Oh, but it may not matter. Oh, he tried to deke for the goal, but did not get it.
Yeah, it's in a dangerous spot. He makes a good save here.
Puck scooped up by Larson. Moves it quickly over to Cajon. The Oilers looking against the half.
Oh my God, how did he miss that?
Paddle on it. What a stop by Anderson. Scrum along the boards as they battle for the puck. The Leafs gain possession along the wall.
But you know what? Alan, that is, I'm actually kind of fine with that because the one thing that I do not miss at all is every day waking up not knowing what Mr. Retard was gonna say.
Keep pushing, maybe you get another.
Number 45, what that retard was gonna say every day, and how he was gonna make our country look like a big turd and out of control and not a leader in the world. So now we don't have to worry about that anymore. Now we can rely on someone who's not gonna hopefully do anything nearly as bad. Like honestly, like Trump set a very low mark when it comes to being the president. So like honestly, if you do better than Trump, then that's good. That should be good in anyone's book. Which it's not gonna be that hard to do because he was that bad of a president. Like remember, Joe Biden may be he may be a little maybe he's a little worse for wear, but how many I'm assuming that you know about the whole do you know that there's the tracker for how many times Trump went golfing versus how many times Obama went golfing? Do you know that Trump in his 4 years went golfing probably like 4 times or 5 times the amount that Obama ever went golfing as president? So yeah, Donald Trump, true model president, yeah. Spent more days on the golf course than any other president in like modern history. Because yeah, that's the definition of a working president right there. So sorry, I mean that if you don't consider that an embarrassment, then I don't know what you do. Because I remember Republicans dish it. Oh my God, Obama! How many times is he gonna go golfing? He's golfing all the time, right? But it's crazy. I didn't hear Fox News bitching about Donald Trump golfing 500 times in his presidency. That's so odd, isn't it? It's almost like there's a double standard or something. No, I mean Fox News had a huge problem with Barack Obama going golfing. Remember they used to report on it like I think every time that he was out. But then amazingly like Donald Trump goes golfing and they're like defending him. That's very odd. Isn't that weird? It's like I said, it's almost like there's a double standard or something. Like maybe they had a problem with him being a Democrat, or maybe they had a problem with him being black or something. God, how odd. Again, this is why I come back to with the media. If you're gonna have standards, then be equal with your standards. Don't be hypocritical. And if you're a Republican or Democrat, the same freaking thing. You can't sit there and say, "Oh, well, Obama went golfing 100 times," and then Donald Trump goes quadruple that, and you're like, "Oh, well, that's because he worked so hard." Oh, so Obama didn't? Like, I mean. Again, like people are gonna try to frame it however they want, but that's just sad, dude. It's just sad.
Edmonton's got it behind the net. Great defensive stick work on the
He probably can't even play golf, man. That's probably better for us. That way he can't go play golf. Oh my gosh. Oh no. Toronto's pulling the home goalie. God, no. Oh god, it's going to be an empty netter. Oh. Boo. No. No. The fans say no. Oh god. The camera shake.
That should be enough to wrap this thing up. The empty net goal should seal it.
Edmonton's added to their lead with the empty netter, and Ray, that's pretty much all she wrote, I would say.
Well, you grind away to get the lead through this much of the game, and they
He probably can't, but why do we care about golf?
put it away with an easy one into the empty net.
And they'll dump it in. Tosses
Well,
it
I mean, like I said,
Edmonton's got it in their own
Fox
zone.
News certainly cared about golf during Obama's
The Leafs
reign.
gain possession in their own end. And he slides it quickly to
But like I
Matthews.
said, you know, I didn't hear them talk at all about Donald Trump and his golfing.
Control the puck against the
It's amazing how that whole thing works.
The transition game.
So Donald Trump may not have been like
Neal's working it around in the corner.
sleepy or suffering from anything because like he went golfing so often, you know, like he took a lot of breaks.
Cross. There's the final horn sounding, putting this
I have to wonder, has Biden gone golfing yet
decisive victory,
since
but
he
this
took
thing
over as
wasn't
president?
to the end.
Now, once they get
And
the empty net goal, it becomes a two-goal
when was the first time that Donald Trump
man.
what was the first time that Donald Trump was golfing after becoming president?
They stink for your plus
Did he go golfing by now as president?
Ray Ferraro, my name is James Cebulski. Get home
That's what I'd
safely.
wanna
Thanks so
know.
much for joining us.
Did Trump already take a vacation in his first couple of months? And then if so, where were the Republicans then bitching? You know what I'm saying? Trump went that same weekend. Trump went day 10. Does golf even take skills? Yes, it does. Mike. Well, Mike, go try it. Look. You should be able to go play golf, okay? Just go to a driving range even. Don't even play, but like you just swing in a ball. I mean, that's okay. Sure. Go ahead and do it. Just like in basketball, Mike, you just shoot a ball, right? You're just shooting a ball in a hole. Right? So basketball doesn't take skill either. Neither does football. You're just throwing a ball to someone. You're just playing catch basically. Right? All right, so that was the first game. Now we're on to Islanders at Penguins. Man, I keep having voice cracks. No, you have someone in front of you. Oh, so like when you have a hole that's 500 yards from the tee, and you have to use a variety of clubs, in which each one of those clubs, you hit a different range with. And you have bunkers and uneven surfaces that the hole is located. You know, the hole could be located in various locations on the putting green as well. And you have wind that factors into it, and you're hitting a very small object a long distance, and you have to account for. You know, a variety of factors, right? You have to account for wind. You have to account for weather. Aside from wind, obviously, I guess you can kind of say that's one and the same. But also when the ball lands, was it raining the prior day? Are the greens going to be fast or are they going to be slow? You know, there's all sorts of things that you have to worry about when it comes to... Now, again, that's more professional golfing. But, like, when you're golfing for fun, I mean, you probably don't really think about it as much. But, like, you know, you kind of do. You know, you got to keep the ball in play. You got to keep the ball in the fairway. You got to always hit perfect. Like, because if you hit bad one time, your ball's out of play or something along those lines. You know, it can get brutal, man. I've played golf. I've personally have played golf multiple times. And let me just say, it's not easy. Like, if you're not used to playing golf consistently, it's definitely not easy. There is definitely a challenge to it. And plus it's also easy to get we'll set up bets for this one. It's also easy to get excited or anxious to play. As well. So like that actually plays a role in it. Like I used to get so excited on certain hole locations is because you knew like, oh hey, I get to use my 3-wood or something like that. Like you get to use a different club. At the course we played at, you didn't really get to use your driver that often because the holes were the 18 that we would play were shorter holes. And so, you know, when I got to use a driver at a certain hole, like it was just like, you never played any type of golf? Wow. Yo, Baker, let's go Egypt and buy a ship. Wait, what? Why would we go to Egypt and buy a ship? I'm confused by that. All right, guys. So Islanders for Islanders, Penguins for Penguins for anyone who cares to bet on this game. Go Islanders. That's all I can say. It's a battle for the East. Then let's get the ship stuck in the canal. Oh my God, really? You're talking about that? I can't believe anyone even knows about that. Like, I barely know about it. I just happened to see something about a ship and they managed to get it. Believe it or not, it's harder to buy an Xbox than PS5 right now.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He's Ray Ferraro. I'm James Cebulski. We often talk about the ghosts in cities like Montreal or Detroit, but the city of Pittsburgh has established something.
Target may restock as soon as this week. Ugh. Dude, it's just like annoying, man, with the Xbox crap. Like, this, like, why do you insist, other than to try to get people way overexcited over something? It's just like, why do you not have enough in stock constantly? Like, why is it this difficult to have your consoles when in the past it didn't seem like it was nearly as ridiculous? You haven't seen new or old?
New York's gained possession along the boards. Pittsburgh's got the puck here in the open ice. Battling for it.
Well, you certainly won't see current gen or next gen ones for Shizzle. You definitely won't see those because like they're pretty much like reserving those damn things. Like I think before they even hit the store, in some cases they're already technically reserved because of pre-orders or whatever. Okay, Islanders, let's try to get the puck out of your territory now. You could do that. It'd be great.
Gets it over to Pullock. Slides the puck across to Barzell. And he serves it across to Eberle.
Oh, man, the dude just got dropped. Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, that's what I call them. That's definitely what they are, Pittsburgh. Look at that. They got piss all over their jerseys. All right, anyways. That's what the yellow is. It's actually urine. Oh my God, how did you miss that shot, dude? Like that goalie was way out of position. Like he didn't even see that. He like backhand wrist shotted that thing and hit the goal or hit the bar. Beg your favorite fellow. Oh my gosh. No, he's not my favorite fellow. Ohioan. Stop that. Oh, so we went to this bar. Melinda and I went to that bar on Saturday. And that was interesting. There was this chick that came and sat down. We found out it was actually a woman, but like this woman was like probably like one of the nastiest women I've ever seen. Like she was kind of like her father must have had bad genes or something, maybe, or the dominant gene, because she probably looked more like her dad than her mother. And if not, then I don't know what her mother looked like, because that lady was just, her facial features just alone, like forgetting like makeup and stuff like that, like she looked like straight up like a dude. I mean, you know, I'm not judging or anything by any stretch of the imagination. I just based like it was just different to see someone. It was different to see a woman that looked like that and like actually be a woman. Like you were expecting her to be a dude. No, it's not rude. You were expecting her to be a guy, like a trans or something like that. Like the closest Walmart to you is about 30 miles away. Oh my God, Steven Spielberg books where the games used to be. What? Okay. Maybe she's Amish. No, neither of those bums are favorite fellow Ohioans. Forget those guys. They're both buttheads. It's just sad that they're even associated with Ohio. No, I mean, Melinda confirmed because she sat right next to Melinda. Melinda's like, no, it's definitely a chick. She even talked to her. She put her hand on her leg. I'm just like thinking like, you know, like guys can't get away with stuff like that. I mean, unless you're trying to hit on them, but even then, like you can't get away with that. If you're a guy, you don't just put your hand on some woman's leg at a bar. But she was like, oh, your hair's so nice. Like she was kind of making conversation with her. She's like, oh, I'm sorry I touched your leg or whatever. But like, she was like, yeah, she's definitely a dude or definitely a girl. And I was like, wow, okay. She's like, she just had unfortunate looks. So that's basically what we, and then there was this other girl that there's this other girl who looked like, she didn't really look that old, but like, Melinda's like, oh God, you should see like her, like look at her face. Did she have a deep voice? No, she didn't. She didn't. Like I said, it wasn't a dude, man. Like, it straight up was not a dude. But like, she started talking to this girl because she's like, oh, do you see that girl? She looks kind of gross. Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't think the girl looked attractive by any means, but like, she didn't look really old to me. But Melinda's like, she's like, I'm gonna go talk to this girl. She's like, she looks like she's 40, and I'm like, well, it's obvious that she tans, and it's obvious that it's taking a toll on her skin at her age. So then she started making conversation with the girl. She's like, look, I had to straight up like lie to this girl just so I could find out how old she was. She's like, dude, this girl is 25 and she looks like she's 40. I'm just like, oh, like damn, like okay, like I didn't really guess at how old she was. I mean, she looked young still, but she just looked like her tanning was not helping her. Sometimes you just need to be put in her place. Yeah, with your wife beater and your fists. I mean, was that what you mean by put in her place, Donovan? Because you are that kind of guy, it seems like, from everything that we've seen. Sometimes you just need a Superman that hoe. So Preston, did you get your rewards from the loot crate? So did you see that I managed to complete the hit list one? So I ended up making all my money back after spending it all on putting people on the hit list. So we got two achievements, and we got two loot cases. But yeah, I ended up completing a couple. I ended up getting a couple of hits, and I ended up making back like the 30 million I spent on putting people on the hit list. So, but yeah, I spent like, oh no, was it 30 billion? It was 30 billion. Sorry, I made 29 billion back or whatever. So like, I ended up making back the money. Oh my gosh, come on, New York. Oh, they're filling each other up all right. So one of my loot crates had like an energy thing, but I think that may have been, I think hopefully the way they do it is hopefully they give out the rewards in the loot case based on how much you contributed, because like barely any you guys. So like, look, I'm not trying to be ungrateful or anything, but like honestly, you can do a maximum of 35 just standard job helpings a day. So at least you have 35 a day that you can do for just that, and then challenge helps. There's no limitation to how many of those you can do in a day. So like at the very least, everyone should be able to do 35 per day. If you have a big enough mob, it's easy to do. But like I had 400 some by myself, and then Stringer Bell, that's also me. So then I had 2 of my accounts had more than everyone else in there. Like I had like 90% or 95% of the actual task. Damn, that looked close to offsides to me. I would challenge that. He was offsides, bruh. Like, I had to grind super hard just to make that happen, man. That was rough. But I didn't start out. I just kind of started out slow because I figured, oh, well, people will probably pitch in. Well, then when it was obvious that that wasn't really going to happen, then I was just like, shit, now I really have to, like, try to get most of this myself, and then like plead with people, like just do something, just do a little bit. That reminds me of when I hear that stupid horn, it reminds me of the that video I created and put up there, the one with Theon Greyjoy. It's just like when you hear the sound, the guy at the Penguins game honking the horn. It's like, and the person that kills that fucking guy with the horn, whatever the hell it was that Theon Greyjoy said, he's gonna be knighted or whatever the hell he said. Like,
tying up his opponent.
Why weren't any of these virtual bastards wearing masks? Attention to detail, EA. Well, I mean, obviously these games came out before COVID, right? So, well, I take that back. I mean, maybe not NHL. NHL didn't. NFL. Well, even then, I guess the NFL didn't either. But I mean, most of the development I think was done by that time anyway. Like, you're already like so far into the development process that you can't really. You're not really gonna. Well, yeah. So, if you guys understand how development works, which I do because I do application software development. You can't just like add something like that towards the end. Like, COVID started in March, you have a release in August. I mean, yeah, that you're like, okay, that's like 6 months. Well, first off, like last year after you released Madden in August, you're basically like you're already like working on your next set of features, right? So then by that time you have to consider like testing time and then packaging time and all that kind of crap. Like, there's a lot of stuff that goes into that. Now, I'm not familiar with like shipping software or anything like that, so I can't comment on that part of it, but I can certainly comment on the process of meeting strict deadlines and goal Islanders. The time it takes is to go through that whole process is like it's time consuming, And then to do it and then to do it during COVID, like when you're doing probably the primary amount of their testing and bug fixing and stuff like that was during COVID, where then like everyone was working from home and that kind of stuff, so you weren't gonna like up and be like, oh, let's go ahead and just like let's add masks into our game and stuff like that, and they could have at least unloaded all the players from the field. Wait, what?
Scooped up along the wall by
The
Gensel.
fans? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
Pellick.
I don't know.
Can't maintain possession. New York's got a hold of the puck. Now over to Letang.
Well, plus remember too, though. Remember all the issues that Madden had when it came out, right?
Hangs onto the puck. And he comes
You know, there were a lot of problems they had with just like the gameplay, so they probably maybe had something like that in their back pocket, maybe, but like I don't think so, because then
along the wall.
I feel like
Got some good footwork to kick it away.
so that's a time, in my opinion, where a video game maybe just needs to be a video game and not be as close to real life as possible. Just like wrestling games. I feel like wrestling games, they made them too
Yeah, he gets
realistic.
over the shooter. There's really nowhere for that puck to go.
Where then it kind of ruins the fun of it just being a game.
But the goalie was in good position.
And so, you know, at least people playing the game could be like, oh, hey, there's still fans here. You know, kind of like it's your way to get away from reality.
Wins the draw here in
That's what video games are kind of there for. It's not meant to be like a real world like simulation of life,
up with the stop.
right? Like, you know, some aspect of it has to be
Feeds the puck to
unbelievable or not exactly 100% correct for it to be really like a video game.
Martin. And he
You know what I'm saying? So like,
Seekis.
so while we could give them shit about not doing that, at the same time, like, there's kind of reasons to not do it.
Rocks him on the play. The Islanders look to start the transition game.
Because then people could, you know, kind of relish in like, hey, this is what. Oh my god, that dude just got fucking leveled, man. He left his skates to knock that fucker out, and I'm happy to see it.
Dismiss that chance.
But yeah, so that may be one of the times where you got to give him a pass, right? And just be like, well, you know, I get it.
Right through the body. See it right here. That's a big hit.
So apparently Hugh Jackson's coming out with a book later this year that's gonna describe his god dang it, dude, you
Well, that's one way to win the draw.
it's gonna describe like his tenure with the Browns. But then they had that thing that came out today where he said that he was promised, apparently Jimmy Haslam promised him a contract extension in the middle of the season where they went 0-16,
Blocker on that one.
That is sweet.
or like the year after.
Good save. Off to the corner.
And then he said Hugh Jackson said he wanted to make it public, but then they were like no, and then he ended up getting canned. So then he was like upset, and he's like, "Oh, they promised me that we were gonna be rebuilding or whatever."
New York's got a 1-0 lead after
And then there was something about his contract went from like he's like, "I know it made it to Sashi Brown," and then Sashi gave it to someone else, and then it just kind of died there, or something like that. So. And then his comment was something like, oh, it was supposed to be football and analytics, but it ended up being football versus analytics. And then, you know, he said something about like, oh, yeah, like, you know, of course I had to sit there and clap when we drafted Cody Kessler. But he's like, that was an analytics draft. That wasn't a football draft. So he's like, I wasn't. So basically saying, like,
get underway.
I had no say in the fact that they took Cody Kessler in the draft. What, he was like the 3rd round pick or something?
Slides the puck over.
Maybe 2nd?
Good defensive stop with the poke check. Along the boards, they battle for the puck back and forth. And now it's grabbed by Kulak. Pittsburgh's got the puck along the boards. On the doorstep.
Ooh,
Can't connect.
one-timer missed.
Taken along the wall by Pellick.
That would have been a goal if the pass was accurate,
Takes a bump and loses
or the timing was accurate.
Letang's got it against the boards. Taken by Joseph
Oh,
with the stop. Puck scooped up by Kulak.
sometimes the Islanders seem like they're on a freaking power play, like all the time.
Inside the defensive zone. They go on the attack through
I'm
center.
vilified about losing. This is a joke to me.
Moves it quickly over to Letang.
Wait, because you were vilified because of losing? What?
Stopped by the goaltender. Picked up along the boards by Del Cole.
Look, I mean, I don't know, but
Puck ahead in
hold on. But let me ask this. Then my question is going to be about Deshaun Kaiser,
and he slides it quickly to Nelson.
because I feel like he was the one who made the call about Deshaun Kaiser.
Quick feed to Kapanen. Couldn't make that one happen.
You know, we got the tape to back it up. I mean, in the Mayfield video, I never created. I mean, I have it, but I could never publish it to YouTube because it has all sorts of copyrighted content in there. But it was like it's almost like a 1 hour video of like when Baker Mayfield is after his first season with the Browns. But it all started with Hugh Jackson and him saying, "Oh, you know, Deshaun Kaiser, that's my guy, and I don't feel it's too early."
That's a tough test on the wrister.
Inching closer to the midway mark of the period. New York's ahead 1-0. Pittsburgh's got it in the offensive zone. Puts it on.
Oh,
Stops him with a glove.
off the post.
And now he moves it quickly to Komarov.
Well, yeah, but then,
Moves the puck into the
but you know, so amazingly enough, though, like, oh,
official's hand is in
New
the
York
air.
going on the power play.
Time for the official.
But I mean, but then you have a winning season and you go into the playoffs with a first-year head coach. So I mean, obviously, like, I don't know. I mean, obviously the roster's a bit different now, but it's not like,
The Islanders will have a chance to get
you know, he had Baker Mayfield, and you know, I'm pretty sure he was the one who decided. He was the one who named Tyrod Taylor the starter.
in the offensive zone.
moves it to Pollock.
So I mean, you know, like, right? He made that decision. That was the coach's decision, right? I mean,
Play tonight. Denies him again.
But he came out and challenged him. Good save. He had to be on top of his game to make that stop. That's a great scoring chance, and he turns it aside.
The centermen glide into position. New York's won the draw and they'll go to work. Snaps one here in the slot. Turn that chance.
yeah, I mean, he had to decide on Mayfield. I mean, he had a chance to possibly make something. Imagine, you know, I mean, and again, maybe we could be wrong, but imagine if Mayfield starts that season, you know?
Control of it at the point.
Imagine with, now granted, you know,
Arms reach on the play.
I don't know. You could say something about that, but like, I guess we'll really never know because he would have had Todd, what's his name, as the offensive coordinator. You know, would he have been just as lost in the beginning? Maybe.
We'll get another look at this. That's a good shot, but the goalies gets the block.
He did say that guy. Why do I forget his name now? I mean, I remember him, but then like I forgot him as quick as I remembered him. You know, he said that hiring him was one of his biggest coaching mistakes. And it's just like thinking like, you mean aside from like naming Deshaun Kaiser a starter or naming someone else a starter over Baker, or Tyrod Taylor a starter over Baker Mayfield? I mean, those are some pretty big coaching blunders if you ask me. But you know, oh, goal! If Gonzalez is a fuck up a couple times, make the playoffs. Right. Right.
A sweet feed there. The butterfly pass goes across, and the shooter doesn't miss.
Electronic arts of combustion. Why is that?
Attempt to put more pucks on net has paid off as they
All right, so we're halfway through the third.
face off here on the neutral
There's
zone.
they have the Penguins logic in this game. It's like the Tom Brady logic in
Feed to Cal.
EA Sports,
The
or the
Islanders
Patriots logic they had
Pittsburgh's got a hold
at some point. You know, they got the Penguins logic in this game. I swear to God, because like Pittsburgh could be down to like 10-0 right now, and they would still have a chance in this game because they always seem to be able to come back from like ridiculous deficits
sends it over to Bailey.
in NHL games.
Drives to the sweet spot.
What the hell? How do you turn that over, bro? Oh, be careful. Do not get a penalty, you dummy. He was working on
Moves it up ahead. And now it's over to Sevier.
something there.
Jostling for the puck and he loses
A
control.
not good penalty.
And now it's grabbed by Letty. Here's a short pass to Mayfield.
Dude, these guys, I swear to God, their puck control, like, why can't you ever get out? Why can't you get out of your own territory sometime?
Nice zone entry from the middle. Takes a shot.
There you go.
By the goaltender.
The Penguins are not good. They suck. They suck monkey balls because they can't even code proper blocking logic in Madden. I mean,
But he makes an excellent save there. This game is
there's a lot of goofy shit that happens in Madden. Okay,
Have all the momentum right
your pre-order rust. Wait, so was that actually true, JJ? Is that actually a thing? I saw your video, but like, I wasn't sure if that was just like someone like kind of being silly or. But if they said that it was if they said it was on console, well then what do they mean pre-order if it's on console? If it's on console, then you can already play it. Otherwise, it's not technically on console. If you can't play it, it's not there.
Pittsburgh's moving it up the ice. Passes on over to Crosby.
So guys, how was everyone's Monday? For anyone who wasn't here earlier when I was asking.
And now he tries to get it across to Martin.
What in the world are you retards doing?
Loose in the neutral zone.
And did anyone watch any of the David Chauvin trial crap today?
The Islanders have it against the wall.
They had some hood chick on there
Taken by Everly.
earlier today who was like
The neutral zone.
such a terrible
Centering pass.
oh, what a move! Goal!
He loses about
Islanders 3-0.
and lays one across for the teammate to just push it into the net.
Hey, look, it's Jerry.
New York's all smiles on the bench next to you, aren't they?
Yeah, they're having lots
Yeah,
of fun.
they're all
Not so much
masturbating
on the
over
other
here.
side where this night has been a
They're
nightmare.
getting all the rest of the
Puck is dropped and play resumes.
adrenaline out.
McCann's got it in the
You actually fell asleep through your third and fourth period. What the heck?
fails to find
Baker be watching that Jerry Springer on Monday night. What? Oh, hell no. Hell no.
the attack.
Oh, I'm surprised that wasn't offsides right there. Seemed kind of close.
Possession along the wall.
But yeah, like that trial, man, that chick, they were just like, she was like the worst like witness, if that's what they call them. Like, I'm not sure if they're witnesses or what the hell these people were supposed to be, but like, yeah, they were witnesses. They were people that were there when it happened. So yes, they were witnesses, but like, I'm not sure what they're trying to prove with any of these people, to be honest.
Good defensive effort.
Like this one chick, they were like,
Pass to Tanev.
"Hey, were you there?" She's like, "Yeah."
That one's turned away.
They're like, "Okay, is this your name?" She's like, "Yeah." And then like, she just kept saying yeah to their question instead of yes. And at one point, at the very beginning, they asked her to speak up, and she's like, "Yeah, yeah." And it's just like, she was kind of like sort of copping an attitude at the beginning. It's like, dude, like, you're supposed to be like the good guy. Like, don't ruin it. Like, and then they were asking her questions like, "Well, do you remember when you were like when you were at work? Like, what'd you start doing?" Oh, that was a huge one-timer that could have been stopped.
And tries to make a diagonal pass to Gensel.
You heard the cops called the cops. What?
Stopped by the goaltender.
But she was just like, they were like, "Okay, so what'd you start doing? You were at your job, you saw this going off out the window, so then what'd you start doing?" She's like, I don't really remember." Oh, went in at the buzzer, goal! Just kidding.
Tonight as he gets it done in a big way.
But they were just like, "What'd you start doing?" "Oh, I don't remember." And they're like, "Well, you said you started to do something with your phone. Do you remember what you did with your phone?" I'm not really sure. Like, okay, well, do you remember telling us that you you took out your phone and you started recording? "Oh, yeah, that's right. Yes, I did. I took out my phone. I was recording stuff." It's like, dude, where did you get this girl from? Like, why? So they're dealing with this with the girl. They even asked her at some point, "Okay, are you like nervous? Are you nervous?" And she was like, "Yeah, I'm nervous." And they're like, "Okay, well, don't worry. You got time. Take your time. Everything's okay. We got all the time in the world." And no, she didn't. She definitely didn't get paid to do it because they showed a thing where one, if she got paid, they wouldn't have been like, "Okay, you see there's a point where the camera turns and looks this way, and do you recognize who that is in the camera?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's me. I'm recording the thing going on." Like, clearly she was there. I mean, you could tell that she was there, but like, she was kind of like, just retarded. And then the guy goes, then he uses the word like, he comes up with this sentence and uses the word like composition in the sentence and in the form of a question after like talking to this woman who clearly is having a hard time just like I don't know, paying attention or remembering anything, and clearly isn't all that intelligent, and used the word composition in a form of a question. It was just like, dude, you obviously don't know who you're talking to at this point, because she probably doesn't even understand what that word means. So, like, you should maybe be using baby talk with this witness, because as someone who's a paid professional, you should be able to realize that. You need to be able to dumb down your communication to the level of the person you're talking to, so that you get better communication out of them. You know? Like, it was just sad. It was just a sad moment in American history. I don't know. Like, and then I don't even know what they were trying to prove with her. Like, other than like, they're like, well, she had video and they synced them up with the actual, from the video from the cameras. And so they showed them side by side. But, you know, they even said like, oh, when you had your camera, like, what'd you do? Like, did you sit around for a while and record videos and stuff? Like, what'd you do? Like, at this point. And then they were like, and then she was like, she's like, I don't remember. I think I went outside and smoked a cigarette or something. And they're just like, the guy, like, you almost hear like the desperation in this guy's voice, the attorney's voice, like, oh my God, lady, I'm gonna choke you on the stand. Like, please, like, you're embarrassing us. Like, it was embarrassing. Like, they couldn't ask her anything. They were asking her like the most basic GED questions, and for her answer to always be like, oh God, it was like, that was like so long ago. It was like, yeah, I get it was almost a year ago, but like, obviously this was a big enough event that you recorded it and you were watching this as it happened. You can't mean to tell me that you forgot everything that happened all of a sudden. Like, literally, she did not remember anything until like they showed her the video and they're like, would you remember this? Well, yeah. And like, well, do you remember like this part where like the ambulance came? And like, did the officer who was clearly by his head, like, did you see him ever move? And she's like, no. So I mean, she kind of remembered some things, but like very very iffy detail, very iffy detail. It was very unfortunate part of any of the stuff they talked about today, but I don't know. I guess I'm not sure what they're trying to prove, other than like the only thing that you're really proving at this point is, wow, this is like a different event across the board that like these people who were involved have never seen in their lifetime or in their experience of doing what they're doing. Even the lady who was responsible for coordinating like officers and stuff like that, like assuming, I think she's not like a switchboard person, but someone who like can see like when they say, one of the, so not the dumb lady, that's not the dumb lady. So I'm not talking about the dumb lady now. I'm talking about the lady before her, actually. So the lady before her was actually like much more intelligent and was like, she was a lady who would, she was in like the, wherever the hell the cops call into to say like, hey, we're done at this scene or whatever, or hey, we just arrived. Hey, we need backup, or hey, whatever. Like, she's like that person who takes those calls. And so she's responsible for that stuff. And they were like, they asked her like, well, was there something different about this? And she's like, well, yeah. She's like, because like they weren't asking for more, but then there were a lot of officers there, and they were all just like kind of sitting there. And she's like, at one point I thought like the screen froze that we were watching because they were sitting there for so long on this guy. And she was even confused like what the hell was happening. And she said that she called the sergeant directly because she was worried about the amount of force being used. And they're like, well, is that normal for you to do something like that? And she's like, no. They're like, well, why'd you do that? She's like, because this just seemed like it was just so weird. Like, it just was not something that I'm used to seeing ever. And she's like, this isn't standard operating procedure. And so, I mean, I get like, okay, yeah, I get it. Like, you know, that may have been like maybe the most like, you know, everyone's most favorite word now, damning. That may have been the most damning thing of the day that was said, maybe, possibly. I'm not really sure. But yeah, it was certainly, what Was she? Yeah, the lady. Yeah, she was. She was. The lady who was the radio person for the lady who called the sergeant. She was. She was a black lady. But they said, like, how long have you been doing this? She's like, oh, I've been doing this for 7 years, or whatever her career was. I've been doing this for 7 years. They're like, so, like, you know, you've seen some different stuff, and this is the first time that you can recall seeing an incident like this where you had a call, where you called the sergeant directly instead of them requesting you to call the sergeant. Because you said normally, like, protocol is like the cops will directly call the sergeant or something to kind of say, like, hey, you know, there's a chance we have to use excessive force, or we did, or something along those lines. So there's usually a more open line of communication, but they apparently didn't. And they weren't talking to her, or no one was communicating anything, whether it was on the radio or whether it was on their laptops. And so she's like, yeah, I'm calling them. And so the sergeant was like, oh, okay, don't worry, I'll take care of it. Or I'll look into it, or whatever the hell he said. So, I mean, you know, and they had the call. They released the call. You know, they had the call. They played back the call that she was on. So, I mean, they have the whole call, like, recorded, because that's part of, they do that as part of her job. They record everything, she said. They record everything. She's like, they're like, do you recall all your calls? She's like, no, they record everything. Like, you can't take a shit without them having recorded that shit. No, but, so I don't know. I guess I'm not really sure, I'm not really sure what they're trying to prove or disprove at this point. It's kind of like the very beginning. Today was the first day, right? So they said they opened up by playing the video of the whole thing or whatever. And like I said, I only started watching loosely when the black lady was on talking about the whole radioing and how the process should work and what they weren't doing and what she did and that kind of stuff. You know, and of course they touched on the point. They're like, well, you know, you're not a police officer, right? No. And did you ever have training as a police officer? Well, no. It's like, that's not my job. But, like, you know, so I think that may have been a defense asking those questions, but it's like, so you're trying to just say that because she wasn't trained as a police officer that she's not in the position to be able to possibly question or maybe question their authority. I mean, see, my only problem with that is that we have seen other similar circumstances where cops are overstepping their bounds and doing similar stupid things, making dumb decisions in the heat of the moment, being judge, jury, and executioner at the heat of the moment. And so to even suggest that someone shouldn't be trying to kind of double checking them a little bit, you know, I mean, I don't think I'd be trying to make that case because I don't feel like there's a case to be made there. I mean, I feel like there is some credibility to, like, you kind of almost need to double check them at this point. You know, there's just way too much nonsense that's going on with all this crap. You know, again, like, we all see it now because we have social media and things that are fingertips now that we never used to have back in the day. So this shit's been going on forever for all we know, right? I mean, and then some. So it's not like, you know, we can all just pretend like, well, this shit just started. But no, we know this. We're almost certain. We can all almost be certain of this whole stuff didn't just start, right, within the last 5 years. This stuff's been going on. We just didn't know about it. I would say that's a fair and accurate statement. But I don't know. Either way, I feel like you do need to check these guys, man. Like, shit's getting out of hand. You know, obviously you have bias. You have racial bias. Did you see the Satan shoes? No. you obviously have racial bias and stuff like that in the police department. I mean, there was even audio stuff from like years ago. I think that were playing on the news where like the cops were kind of poking fun at that stuff, like, you know, hey, you need to arrest like so many black people and so many people of color this month or something. Like it was part of their quotas and shit like back in the day. So I mean, that kind of shit, you don't just chase that out in a year. You don't chase that systemic problem out in a year. That takes years to get rid of, because then you got to wash out the people that are promoting that kind of behavior and stuff. And so that kind of stuff exists all over the country still. You know it has to. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know there's different arguments that could be made for, you know, you can't just say, well, no, you just stop arresting, you know, black people, because what if your neighborhood's like 90% black, for example? You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, stats are going to sway in a certain direction, but while that may be the case, you don't say like, well, you need to arrest this many black people this month. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you should never hear that in a police department. It should be like, you arrest the criminals, and if they just happen to be black, well, then they just happen to be black, not just go after the black people this for now. You know, that's not, you can't have stuff like that. You can't have stuff like that. That's where they're wrong, you know? That's where they're wrong. So, but anyways, I've been kind of going on here about whatever. These games have been over for minutes now, but I don't know. It's just gets the conversation started again about this whole thing, and you know, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how things unfold and what kind of case they're presenting to try to get this guy convicted, and all that. So, you know, I'm sure we'll see. I'm sure it'll be weeks. I don't think this thing will be over in days. But maybe it will. Who knows? But I feel like it's going to take a while. So, and this whole thing started because I was talking about that trashy, or the hood white girl they brought on there today, which I'm just like, it was just annoying to watch. Like, because I'm just like, dude, like, when this girl's just like, she seemed like she was just didn't want to be there, sort of. Like, kind of didn't really care. Just seemed disinterested in talking to the attorneys. Didn't seem to recollect anything. Barely. Like, maybe she recollected like 5% of what transpired that day. You know, I don't know. Like, that was just really annoying. You know, I'm just, you know, the guy that I swear I know that attorney was just like, please, like, I'm just throwing you softball questions. You can't even answer them properly. I don't know. I guess it's one thing to be in their shoes, but like I said, it was such a profound moment, I feel like, in some of these people's lives, that you'd feel like you'd remember that, like, vividly. Like, you know, like when people say like, oh God, I remember that like that was yesterday, right? I mean, that's how I feel like these people would remember that. Like, this just happened, even though it was almost a year ago. So, but all right, guys. So, I guess that's all for today. So, like, yeah. Thank you guys for everyone who stopped by. I appreciate it very much. Good chat. Next time we'll be streaming, of course, tomorrow. Yeah, so tomorrow probably like 5-ish. We'll have to see, man. Tomorrow's gonna be rough. Tomorrow's gonna be really rough. So I'm trying to go for a walk with Melinda tomorrow, or with the dogs or something, or try to do something, because the weather's supposed to be nice. It's supposed to be 69 degrees here tomorrow, so and then it's not supposed to be like warm like that until sometime next week. So I'm trying to like actually go outdoors and do something. Maybe I'll like do like a video stream or something when I get back. Yeah, it's supposed to be 69. Then Wednesday's supposed to be 48. Thursday's supposed to be 31. So it's supposed to drop back down to like freezing temperatures on Thursday only, and then next week's supposed to be back in the upper 50s, upper 60s one day. So 31. I know, dude. It's Ohio, man. It's how we roll. I'm surprised it's not supposed to snow too. It's supposed to be 31 and windy, so you know that day's gonna be cold. The low's supposed to be 28. Yeah. So, all right, guys. But thank you guys again for all your support. Appreciate it very much. And until next time, guys. Bye.